All right. Good evening, everyone. The 17th. So some of us just came back from our regional casting competition. We'll go through all that. Probably talk about that first, and if there's any time left over, I'll tie something. Looks like Carl's tying as well. So if I tie something, it'll be something easy. At Mayfly Project, someone came up with bedspread material, which, I'll just do the bedspread fly. They stopped making the material, but someone found something extremely similar. So I'll do the bedspread jig, which is kind of on the level of a mop fly or a mini marabou, and is a very good fly for Bennett if you like fishing underneath a jig. So we'll get about talking to this weekend. So people started showing up Wednesday, and I kind of checked the campground and there was no one in there. So Marjorie and I left a little bit early. I think we rolled in around 2 and got the camper set up and everything. And then while we were setting up, Roger came in right next door. So he was our casting instructor. And so then we were waiting for Lee. And then I heard from Lee that his bearings burned up on his trailer. So he was waiting for a tow truck and hopefully maybe get it fixed. And like, just keep us in the loop and we'll decide what goes from there. So we waited on Lee, but then I think Roger and I and Margie, we got our little gift bag for the weekend, which included our meal tickets. And then I think Margie and I decided to do some fishing because we knew it'd be a packed week. So I went fishing in my favorite spot, Zone 1, right before the Spillway Dam. He had a great time, loved it, caught a bunch of fish, and it was good. And then I think Wednesday evening, I was getting a hold of Lee, and he wouldn't be in that evening because of the burnout of his camper. And by the time he got home, after they towed it, I don't think he started off at noon, and then he didn't get back home until 8 p.m. So it was close to an 8-hour ordeal for him just to end up back home with a bad axle on his RV. So
time to sell the RV, right?
yeah, well, I've got one for sale if he wants a bigger one. So I told him just please be there by Thursday, 10 o'clock, earlier the better, but I knew he had a rough evening. So we were scheduled to start setup around 10 a.m. For the casting competition, and it was going to go to 3. So I wanted to get there early, and I think I showed up at 8:45 thinking, okay, I'll be one of the first ones there. And there was already like 30 people there. I'm like, did I miss a message or something? So actually, here comes Lee right now. So we had it set up pretty quick. People were practicing. 10 o'clock, they were wanting to start it early, but I'm like, no, we said 10, let's keep it to 10.
Hey, Lee.
Lee came in at 10 o'clock and made it right at the start of the casting competition. So there were 6 competitors, so we got him last, at least get some practice in, because the others had practice, he didn't, so he was at a disadvantage. So Roger got some quick lessons in with him, and then Lee got to see what the whole competition was about. So everyone was doing good, and then it was Lee to finish us up. And I know the nerves were kicking in at first, but once he got past the nerves, the casting started falling into place, and he looked really good. So
yeah, he did. I mean, especially his distance casts. What'd you finally get out to, Lee? You're out there 40-45 feet, weren't you?
you're
He's
muted.
muted.
Lee.
Okay, I couldn't find my rat. I think that's what I heard him say one time when I was throwing it
Yeah,
out.
Yeah, he was
I'll
getting
let you know. I've got it on video, so I've got it. I recorded it on 2 different machines, so we'll have it someplace.
Okay, yeah, still like to get a hold of that. So
Yeah, he was getting some roll cast way out there too, which was you took the distance in feet and multiplied it by 10, and that was your point. So Lee was putting some bombs out there, so they totaled up all the points and they started going down the list. And know the gentleman Dallas, but I don't know which program he was from. Took first place. I forgot who second place was.
Northwest Arkansas.
Northwest. Oh, yep, you're right. It was.
Yep.
Forgot who took second, and then they said, and following up third place, it was Lee. So our St. Louis came in third place, so he got himself a nice little Yeti drinking cup with a third place winner on it. So that ended that off perfect for us. I mean, we had a good time that made Roger happy that his casting lessons went well. I was happy. Everyone had a good time. So at that time, then we took a break, had some lunch, and Paul from Leavenworth made the best pulled pork sandwich I've ever had. And it was good. And so I still have to bug Paul for the recipe, but dang, that was good. And he made enough for 60 people, and I think there was 30 of us there. So we got a big heaping, ton of it. So it went very well. So after that, people were able to go break for to go fishing. I know Lee was tired, so he's like, we got him a room at the Sand Spring, and he's like, good night, folks. And so we set him away, and then Terry and I went fishing. And we went up, here comes Roger now. So Terry and I first went to zone 2, didn't have much luck there. But then we went to zone 1 where I really liked it. And look, Roger's still there. So Roger's still away. So he's not leaving. He's still fishing. So,
Roger's still zoning.
yep. Right behind where Roger's sitting, if you're wondering if you saw the cool pictures of Lee catching a nice trout, was right behind where Roger's standing right there. So
right behind
just
right here.
right there at the end of that spillway is where Lee caught a nice fish there. So
hey, Mick, can you let me share a screen? I've got Lee's casting competition on the video right now. If I can figure out how to do this.
yeah, okay, so it's open to share, and if you get it going, I will.
Yeah, the whole thing for me was to not embarrass Roger.
And you did it.
Well, I can't hear much because of the water, guys. I just thought I'd check in, say hello, remind you where you were a few days ago and wish you were today. Except I spent the morning getting a couple new batteries for my truck because they died. So one of those.
Can y'all
trips.
see that?
Yep, we see that.
Okay,
Very
I'm going to
good.
start it rolling. This
All
is
right,
Lee
start
at
it.
the competition. This is hot off the press. I just downloaded it 5 minutes ago.
Cool.
And I gotta lose weight.
Not
There we go.
not as bad
I'm
as
gonna
the
sign
dude in
off,
the back.
guys. I can't hear.
See you, Rod. Yep, so that was his first cast, and there he's shooting for targets that were a hula hoop and a pie pan. If you got your fly in the pie pan, it was worth 500 points. If you got it inside the hula hoop, it was worth 300. But if you just made a cast, you got 100 points. So
Yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't get anything. Yeah, I couldn't get the darn thing, the wide enough camera view to see everything. So I'll see what my iPad looked like when I get it all processed. How does that look to you guys? It looks a little fuzzy to me.
A little,
A little choppy.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
And that might just be, you know,
internet.
Well, remember this was recorded at Zoom and it was stored on the Zoom website using the cat using my cell phone data. So
yeah.
this was a big experiment. We did have 5 other programs watching all of this. So
Oh, we were live?
You were
oh
live.
yeah, yes we were, Lee. You are famous, or is it infamous?
I'm glad you didn't tell me.
Famous. So yeah, it was a good day. You know, everyone ran through the course.
Okay,
All right, thanks.
I'll cut it off there. I just thought it'd be kind of fun for everybody to take a look at that. So
Yep.
I'm going to be building a video with all those shots and stuff, and I will send you. I'll send you that, Lee. I'll send you the whole darn video somehow. I haven't figured out how to do it yet.
So yep, that was cool.
Okay.
So everyone went through that, and everyone had a good time, good meals, I said. So after that, Lee was like, I need some rest. And that's when Terry and I went fishing. Zone 2 kind of skunked us, but Zone 1 worked out really well. So Terry caught a couple, and I know he was hooked into a big one. And Terry
Bent the-
Horse
Bent the hook.
bent the
straightened it
hook.
out.
So Terry was horsing him so much that in a big enough fish to actually bend the hook, straightened out into a little pin instead of a hook. So he had a good fight. So, and we caught a couple, we had a good time, beautiful day. And I think after that, we were like, all right, let's head out, you know, did the meeting and then grabbed some good dinner at the lodge. And that pretty much ended up Thursday. I'm trying to think of, I don't know if that was the night that we did campfire or not.
Yeah,
can't
I think
remember.
so.
Yeah, I think that was campfire night at Rogers. We had a bunch of people come up and just kicking back, relaxing. And then
that's when we did our Zoom call for Omaha. Was it?
yes, yeah, we did. Yeah, that was pretty cool too. So we did Omaha Zoom call at my camper. So we just kind of did a little chat and talked to everyone and just started talking about, you know, basically doing what we're right now, just chatting on how everything was going, and we just had a good time. So that was cool. That we actually had a Zoom call where it was like almost like a coffee talk on trout fishing. So that was fun. That was a
really
lot.
neat is we can do that stuff outside with nothing but a cell phone.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was
Yeah.
really neat.
Where do I find the link for your Zoom meeting, John?
You know,
I know you.
I tell you
told
what,
us
I
many
don't have
times,
it handy
Nick.
right now, Lee. Let's see. I'll send it to Mick, and Mick, would you send it to Lee?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to get an email out tomorrow. I sent everybody an email today in my group, but I'll send Mick an email tomorrow with all the information, Lee, and he'll send it to you. This week we're doing the gold rib hair.
Yes, I'll forward it to you as well. And that's something Frank, I'm sorry, that's gonna be my priority this week is to get my YouTube account straightened up. If I have to start a new one, I think I'm just gonna do that and then get that out there, and probably like a dozen, I think maybe, that I have stored up. So that's gonna be my thing for tomorrow, is get a new account with Zoom or YouTube.
I sent you my email in this chat, John.
Oh, okay. Just a second. Let me get. Yeah, I'll send you that. I can send it to you right now. As a matter of fact, if I can get to chat. Yeah, it's just been. I'll tell you. You know, it's been crazy this week and last week, and this week is going to be just as bad. Instead of doing Project Healing Waters, I'm doing Game and Parks, and we've got an outdoor discovery program where I'll be teaching kids how to fly cast for the next 3 or 4 or 5 days. So
Yeah.
okay, let me just a second here. All right, go ahead, Nick. I'm sorry, I'm babbling.
No worries. That's what we're doing. This is just
What happens when you get to be my age? You just kind of babble on.
I do it too. And then I forgot what my main point was. So that was cool. We did a Zoom call, did some fishing, lodge, had good time eating. Then that came to Friday. And so that was pretty much a free day. I think I tried to we met up for breakfast, tried to fish for a little bit. I don't think I did well at all. I know that was Scott, Lee, and I. We struggled. Lee caught the one by the spillway, but I know I didn't catch any. So there's just a lot going on. So
I did
Friday,
catch one where we were standing for the whole military system free. The last thing I caught was by the guy we were with. I can't remember his name.
Eddie.
Eddie, yeah, he gave me his pole, and then I just tried it real quick and caught one.
Yep, and we'll talk about that because that came down to that pulsa indicator again. The bite is so light at Bennett, you either have to, I mean, you can get away with a thingamabobber or an Oros or an airlock, but I guarantee you'll be missing some.
Ooh.
If you're using a Dorsey indicator or New Zealand yarn indicator or the pulsa, you're going to catch more. It's just they are hitting so light. I've never seen them this light since last year. I don't know if it's the fish that are coming from the other hatcheries. Maybe they're not as aggressive as the ones Ben makes, but who knows? But that really made a big difference. So Friday, we did some fishing, and then we had to break a little bit early to get to the park store where we started handing out all the tags and all that. And that was fun because there was a massive crowd out there. It was pretty much all Project Healing Waters people. And while people were coming in, we were chatting, just talking, having a good time. I think we took that about to like 8:30. And then I think we called that pretty much done because we knew we were all kind of tired from the day and we were going to have the longest day the following day. So Friday we tried to make it an early night, though. I still think I was up until 10 or 11. Saturday was the big event, so we were all wondering if it was going to rain or not. I was back at the tent at 5:15 in the morning, and before the park store opened up, 6 o'clock they opened, and we started handing out tags again. I think it was about 8 o'clock, an hour after the horn, it started raining, but it was maybe 5 minutes in the drizzle, not too bad. So it didn't even muddy up the grass or anything like that. It was just nice little drizzle and was over. We closed that down around 9, and then we headed off to the big tent and zone 2. Started setting that up at 9, and then officially we started our activities at 10. We had a good turnout. We had all the donations that we had put them out there for our group. They took what they needed, so we got rid of a lot of things that we didn't need but helped other programs. The new program lead for Springfield, Phil, was there and was very much appreciated with all the material that we gave them and some of the bigger waders that we don't use because they weigh more than me. So they were happy. So we set up our new program well from all our donations. We did some fly tying, and Roger did casting lessons. We did like a mad fly bag little competition where we got some paper bags, threw a bunch of materials in there, and then handed out randomly to people to start tying, and they had to create a fly. We just said, go at it, give us something. And then we had everyone vote for it. So we did that twice and gave out some nice little prizes for that. And it was good. There was not as many people this year, and I think it was because of the forecasted weather. But people were fishing, and I think we called it done around 3 p.m. and we started kind of breaking down there. That's when Marge and I took off for, I think, an hour maybe, and had made that purchase. So now we've got kind of a small home base out there now, if you guys need it. We
Mick?
bought a 2-bedroom mobile home, so if you guys
Mick, do you know
remember-
if they publicized it this year locally?
Yes, they did. It was all over. It was in the Trout Talk for May, just to say, hey,
Okay,
it's coming again. So they put it out there, and then it was Mayfly Project put a lot of flyers there everywhere. So that's
okay.
kind of neat.
I know that, yeah, you're right. There were not anywhere near the numbers that we had last year out there.
No.
And
No,
I don't know what, yeah, you might be right, because I then they did predict that weather to be in about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So
it was actually, as of Friday night, they said it was going to rain from 3 a.m. to 5 p.m.
yeah,
If you looked at the weather, it was supposed to rain the whole day. So
yeah.
I'm guessing the only people that showed up were those who plan like us, or maybe local that, hey, let's good, let's go. So
Yeah.
it's kind of tough. So and it was just because of the rain. So but that held out good. And then, like I said, Marge and I got, so if you're ever out there and I'm out there, I've got an extra spare bedroom for you if you wanted to stay out there. And then that Saturday night, we did a Mayfly project where we tied up some flies and had a good time. It was fun. So I was the guest tire again, and I would say it's 85% social and 15% tying. So
Yeah, I apologize for not being there like I promised you, Mick, but I went back to my tent and promptly fell asleep.
yeah,
And I didn't get your email about Walt until about 9 o'clock that night.
yeah. Walt showed up. He came in because he wanted to see everyone. So he showed up and he got there. I was showing him. He goes, "It's raining there, right?" And I was showing the blue skies of everyone fishing. He goes, "All right, I'm coming on up." So he drove up, and I think he was knocking on my camper door the second it started raining. So right when he started knocking, it was raining, and I think I waited a minute, and then I let him in. So I made sure he rained on.
Yeah, I'll
first.
tell you what, this is the second year in a row that I've been down there in my tent when it rained like a you know what.
Yeah,
I thought I was going to float away again this year. More wind this year than last year, or maybe it was
Yeah.
just where I was.
it got windy. So yeah, I would say it was very windy. So after we had, the rains and all that, the rains came in hard, I would say between 3:30 to maybe 5. And once it was done, it was done. And then it was pretty open for us to do the tying for a Mayfly project. That was a good time. I picked up some bedspread material there, and so I've got that. If we have a little extra
Cool.
time, I'll do a bedspread fly, which is John, I think I mentioned that in the list, that it's on the same par as I would say a mop fly. Something very simple to tie, but man, does it work. And so it's a mixture of a mop fly to a mini marabou jig, but it does well. So I'll tie that up pretty quick. And the material for that is the original material has been discontinued, hasn't been made for years. I don't know where they got this, but this is extremely close to it because it's a yarn, but it has 2 threads through it. And this is
Different
almost like-
colors?
this is the main one you want, is the cream. I just told Margie to go have fun. So we got red, if you want to do red. It's like baby blue.
What is that stuff,
Ooh.
Mick?
Oh yeah, I do remember her picking that up now.
Yeah, it's
What
they
is that?
call it bedspread material. Now, if you could find it,
Okay.
good luck, because the original stuff has been made for 40 years. But someone
Oh.
found this, and this is real close. This is a 99% match, but they even
Okay.
have passion fruit.
And Kind of like the same material that Frank Sawyer used to use, that 477 yarn that he used to get that nobody can buy anymore.
Yeah, we got rose blush. Brownstone. That one would be good. I bet you that would be good. I don't know about this, but multicolor. And then I doubt this will work, but it's still a cool color, just straight blue. But if there's a Bennett blue crackleback, maybe I'll have a Bennett blue bedspread fly. So we picked that up because it was half the money went to Mayfly Project. So, you know, I still have more colors, whatever. Wine. So I got wine there. I've got, here's another one. What is this? Here's blonde. So we picked up a bunch. I think we bought $5 worth, but we dropped in a $20 bill to help them out because they're a good cause. And they do, that's Ben and his wife, Sarah, do that. So they help us with this. So we in turn try to help them with that. So I always kind of say, if you want to say thanks to Ben, take care of his program for helping us take care of ours. So that was, we got done around 8, probably walked out of there about 9. So that was like 5:30 to 9, and then got back to the camper, and I promptly fell asleep. And then woke up early because I knew that was going to be Sunday, our last day, and I wanted to try to get some fishing in. And that's where we kind of, I think it was also Saturday, Eddie showed up. And so we got him some of his waders and stuff for him. So did Lee. Lee got, you know, some waders and all that. We just got to get bigger waders for him now. But we've got to get him mixed size waders. So they did good. Again, I had told Eddie about using pulsa indicators, so he was out there with a mop fly and pulsa indicator and tearing them up. He was doing really good, so it's kind of neat to see one of our participants catching fish like he was doing. So we kind of did that Sunday, but the wind was horrible. It was high enough where it just made fly fishing difficult, especially that the current was going right to left, the wind was going left to right, and it just made for difficult fishing. But we had a
Should
good
have been trying
time.
to drive to Omaha in that stuff.
Or me driving home with an RV.
The RV, yeah. Man.
So, yeah, there was a lot of times like, whoa, my gosh, you know. So,
I wouldn't have mind having a challenge. I wish I could have brought mine.
yeah, well, it'll be ready next time. So, again, it was a great time. That's when everyone went back, and I think we're all still pretty tired. I know I was zoned out at work, so it was kind of tough. So, but that's about it. I don't know if anyone has anything more to add. It was a good time for sure.
Yeah, it was. And I think all the vets had a great time too. All our participants and volunteers had a really good time. Lee, I know you did. So
Yeah.
I look forward to doing it again.
I know a lot of guys that were military that were there, not with our group. They just stopped and talked to us a lot.
Yeah.
We're really glad that we stopped and talked with them.
Yeah. That's the benefit. That's the nice thing about Vets Fish Free on Saturday, because you do get to meet other guys that are down there, and you know, that aren't necessarily in our program, but are, you know, they're the same as we are, you know. So
I think we're gonna, I gave out a lot of cards, gave out a lot of numbers. I think there will be more participants because of this. So pretty sure I'm picking one up for St. Louis, but then Lee knows Kathy and Tom. Tom's finally gonna join. I was talking to her today, and he felt like he wasn't worthy for it. I'm like, what? He's a Navy vet, you know. So I'm like, he didn't feel
let me in.
Yeah, I was like, dude, you're part of us. So I don't know if he's going to join Springfield or Leavenworth or us, but I told him it doesn't matter whoever you program you join. I mean, you're welcome to our Monday Zoom calls. John lets us, call into his
Hey.
Thursdays, so you join.
Hey, they
one,
let me
join
be a
them all.
program lead. I mean, my God, if they'll do that.
Yeah, so it's open. So while we have a little bit of time, I'll tie up a quick fly. Because this one is kind of a, John, you were talking about some flies to tie. So let's see if I can.
Yeah, I tell you what, I came down this year and I had a GI backpack, one of those great big 50-pounders.
Yeah.
And I had it full of every single fly I have because Amy told me to do that. And I used one fly in a whole bunch of them. So next year, if I come down, I'm going to be bringing just the ones that I think will work. And I caught one fish on that one fly. So, hey, I guess it's pretty good odds.
Yeah, it's you could look out there and see what's going on.
Yeah.
Spot like me, so I could even see.
Of course, that one fly was a tenkara fly, of course. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, Carl.
I knew that was coming at some point.
One way or another was coming.
We're gonna
You
hear
know
that.
what they say, the fly that you're most successful with is the one that you fish the most. So what can I say?
Exactly.
There you go.
No, the one I was fishing with is called a Japanese lantern, and it's basically a soft hackle zebra midge. And Mick said he was tying size 20 zebras and he was catching them on it. Well, guess what?
Yep.
I caught him on it too.
Yeah, that's my favorite. And I'm coming up with something with my white thread jig, which is my like attractor pattern for it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be
Well, I tell you what, I've been looking all over for numbers for size 20 hooks, and I finally found them up at Charlie's. So
did you?
I stocked up on size 20s.
It's about time he got some. He was kind of slacking a little bit on that. Mhm. So again, I don't know if you could kind of see there's some like 2 strands of thread in there. It's just that this whitewash. Maybe but there's
Reduce your light if you can, Mick.
let me see if I could.
Can you do that at all?
Let me try something real quick. And exposure.
There you go. See if that'll work.
A little bit.
That's better. Much better. Yeah.
So now you can kind of see it. So yeah, the vise is dark and all that, but at least you can see the material now, and you can actually see how there's that cross pattern that keeps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is what's called the bedspread material.
Okay.
And someone used this at Bennett long time ago. And it was a fan favorite. But then the manufacturer shut down. So keep your thread down here.
Should have been selling it as fly tying material. He'd still be
He'd still be in business for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he'd be worth $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So you just kind of put some loops at the bottom, and you have that loop that you could see right there. So you can see that. And then I'm going to go underneath it and wrap this back in towards the front.
I bet you could make your own with what's that stuff that they use?
You could
With,
probably use a lot of different material for this.
Yeah, and then you'd have to do the cross wrap separately, and then I'll have to play with that a little bit.
And I don't even know if the cross wrap is necessary. I bet you if you did that Shetland spindrift that I had and you try to find this color, it would do just as good.
Yeah, it could be. Could be.
So now I'm just gonna
Maybe just string it between 2 vices, and then you do that cross.
Do that cross wrap, yeah.
Mm.
Sounds like a Navy thing to me.
yeah.
Hey, when you're out there, you gotta use what you got.
Now I'm just gonna lock this in.
Remember, necessity is the mother of invention.
Mhm.
Yep.
Navy's invented a lot of stuff.
You gotta when you're stuck out there.
Yeah, it was funny.
Oh.
Lee, while I was sitting up there, I downloaded and ran and watched Top Gun Maverick while I was in the Saturday night.
Cool.
It was closer to being real than the first one was.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, are
To
you
some
talking
extent.
from, I don't know, from a pilot's perspective?
Okay.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
I'm coming from the deckhand, so
And I would say if it was going to be real, it would have been a 10-minute movie of showing the Air Force 2 pilots walking up to a B-2 bomber, taking off, watching them sleep
Yeah.
for a couple hours, and then drop a couple bombs, wipe it out, and then make the trek home sleeping.
Yeah, that's exactly what. But I mean, it's the flying scenes were. I mean, they were real flying scenes. I mean, some of the Navy pilots flew them, and
Yeah.
they were pretty spectacular.
Yeah, the shots were abs. If you have not seen the movie,
shots were
it's,
good.
it's very entertaining.
Did
Now-
Tom Cruise ever learn to fly a little bit from this?
Oh
movie?
yeah, that P-51 that you see in the movie, that's his. That's his personal
Yeah,
plane.
that's his actual airplane.
Okay, good.
Now
Yeah,
the
he did learn how to fly, and
the cool thing about that movie is after they've dropped the bombs and they jump up and start getting lit up by the SAMs,
Yeah.
they used footage from My Desert Storm Squadron because they were lit up, and they used the HUD tapes from my squadron to use the same, terminology and
Yeah.
Okay.
talking for that. So it was kind of neat that they used that to say, okay, this is what would really happen. So
the thing that
that's-
impressed me most about that movie was that they weren't shy about showing that, hey, you don't have an infinite supply of flares or ammunition.
Yes.
You know,
Like these
I
video
mean, they
games
showed the
make-
guys running out of flares and running out of bullets, and I thought
Yeah.
that was impressive.
Oh, these kids play these video games and they think it's going to be like that when they get in their real airplane.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. More than once, I was in Vietnam, and I've just shot all my rockets and all my bullets, and there I was, alone, unarmed, and unafraid. So,
Yeah.
well, not unafraid, maybe, but
I got a question. I'm sorry. I know we're supposed to be talking about fly time,
Well, we're fine.
but is it true that somewhere they're putting video games up and watching the kids play them and recruiting them?
It wouldn't shock me. And there's actually a cool movie based on that called The Last Starfighter, which was,
Yeah, I remember that one.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good movie.
yeah.
I think someone told me World of Tanks was something like that.
Yeah. Well, the technology is there to you tap into the camera on your computer, especially laptops. All have cameras now,
Yeah.
and they can watch you while you're watching somebody else, et cetera, et cetera. So,
Yeah, especially if the game's on their servers. Yeah, they can
yeah.
look in
So
whatever
yeah,
you're
why
doing.
not? It's
Mhm.
yeah. I watched an interesting thing on 60 Minutes last night on artificial intelligence, and I tell you what, if you really want to be scared,
Hmm.
go watch that episode of 60 Minutes about artificial intelligence and what it can do.
I know they're trying.
Nice, Mick.
I'm just looking for my handy dandy pop.
Looks like some sort of a grub.
Yep. So there you go. That is what's called the bedspread jig. So,
Okay.
John, this was one of them that I said does very well. So basically, very similar to a mop fly. As you can see, it's
Yeah,
got that,
yeah.
color, but it has a little bit of movement in there. And
So you want that bead to look like it has a collar?
I put if you wanted, as you see, I matched it.
You
Now,
made a
if you
collar on
wanted,
it.
you could change, if you wanted, what was the color? Oh, I don't,
Oh, no, not color, but collar.
collar. Yeah. You can
Yeah,
see the
'cause-
collar there. I
okay.
just had it.
You
the
didn't
same
weight
color.
it, Mick. Do you ever weight that fly?
I have the bead on it, and I would probably say, yeah, throw some wraps of
Yeah.
lead in there. So,
And do you ever tie it without a bead?
I have never because I do like beads because they kind of keep the material from crowding the eye. So
Yeah, yeah.
this is something that I would tie just like this, except for when you said, should you throw some lead wraps in there? I would say, yeah, because, especially like this weekend, because we had rain, the water was, moving a little bit quicker. So
Yeah.
you need to get that to drop quick. So I would say, yeah, my next ones will have some lead wrap in there to drop
Okay.
it down quick. But yeah, that's it. And then again, this is
Go fly.
really simple, and this does well. This color would do good. I'm gonna tie up the other colors as well, see what I could get, but this would be, let me see, that's a size. What size jig hook? I made this a little bit bigger, so that's a size 12, but next to my thumb, you know, it's
Yeah.
a smaller fly, so that's about what you want. So it's about the size of a mop fly, so it's definitely not like my size 20 zebra midge, but I would tie zebra midge and have it hang off this about a foot behind it for sure.
Okay.
And that's what I'm gonna be.
So that's gonna be your lead fly in a hopper droppers arrangement.
Yeah, hopper dropper, that would be like if you're gonna use like a chubby Chernobyl or
Yeah.
this is kind of good too, those cicadas. Let me pop one of these on real quick. This would be good. Bad. But if you wanted to put something bigger,
Oh, look, foam.
foam, yep. Wow, let me
Yeah.
Big one.
bring that out. So yeah, here's a cicada, you know, now that's much bigger than my thumb. So
Yeah,
that would hold it up, you know, a couple years ago, I would say, yeah, use that and that. But again, these new trout we are getting from these other hatcheries are hitting at the very lightest. I would,
What's the name of that strike indicator you were using, Mick?
okay, Pulsa, and I don't have anymore. That was an unfortunate, somehow all my indicator bag fell out of my vest. So
Oh, no.
indicators. So the good news is it had a lot of indicators I don't use, so hopefully somebody else is using it. What I'm
PULSA?
Pulsa, PALSA. And basically that is a foam sticky. So it looks like
Okay.
it's a figure eight, like a snowman almost. And they're come in white, yellow, and orange. I always get the orange one. And you just peel it off the sheet and you just pinch it right there. Let me get rid of my,
Oh, Carl's got a shot of it there.
yep, I'm trying to get it. Add spotlight.
Change the focus.
And let me get rid of
Okay.
remove spotlight.
Inch
So there you
on.
go. There it is. Pulsa strike indicators.
Okay.
So you can kind of see those work great. There's 24.
Oh, yeah, I got him. I found him.
I think they're like anywhere from $250 to $5 for 24.
You just
And you just put it on. Now, I will say, if you're fishing with it brand new, after a half hour, 45 minutes, they start getting waterlogged.
Okay.
Just bring it to your, you know, where you could reach it, pinch it with your fingers, and it'll get the water out, and you're good for another 15 minutes. And
Okay.
you know, in between fish, because the fish will pull it underwater and it'll get a little waterlogged. So you'll just have to, after you release the fish, pinch it, get the water out.
Okay. Amazon's got them for about $8.60 for 24.
Okay, so price is a little bit higher than what I thought, but
Yeah,
those
well, hey.
work. If you put that and something like that thread jig or what I just did, the bedspread, it's gonna do really well. So, but yeah, that's pulses are great. You know, if you use that thread jig, size 16, like I said in the email, white, and then I put like an 18 or 20 black zebra midge behind it, you're gonna have a field day.
Yeah. Okay, I
That
did
was
find
the-
them for 639 for 24. So
There you go. Prices are coming down.
yep, they are on their way to me right now as we speak.
that was the first strike indicator I'd ever used was the pulses, and it's all I've ever used, just the white ones since I learned how to use them.
You know, I've never used a strike indicator.
Yeah, I've learned why I fish without them too once in a while. It just depends the conditions for me. If I'm
My
just
dad taught me
going-
how to watch the line and everything, and I've always thought that that was all I need. But I'm starting to think that maybe these fish the fish are hitting so light that I'm not even picking them up. So
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing wrong with using a strike indicator, in my opinion. I mean, it's about fishing, and if it's something that helps you see it better, big
yeah,
deal, you know.
yeah,
What
Yeah,
makes
I mean,
you happy?
Yeah, I mean that when I was up in Michigan a couple years ago with my wife, I was fishing with one of my friends and talking to one of his TU buddies, and I was not using a strike indicator that particular time. I had a pretty deep pool, and I was just kind of trying to use some neuro nymphing, dropping some nymphs way down low because that's where the fish were in the pool. And he said, "Yeah, good to see you don't use one of them strike indicators. That's just the biggest da 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 da." And he was going on and on, and I'm like, "Yeah, you're one of those guys that walks into the fly shop, go, yeah, I'm a fly fisherman, you know." And it's
He's one
like,
of those guys that doesn't want to show you anything or tell you anything with the tweed jackets and the leather elbows and the little
Yeah.
guys walking behind carrying his bag. I mean, I remember those fly fishermen from years ago.
yeah, I told him I'll use them. I'm just not using them today because they're down at the bottom, and I can feel it better that way. But there's times too if you get out and there's some pretty high open water where you're casting quite a distance away, like up to a rock or around a bend
Yeah,
that you can't
yeah.
see. You're not going to feel that fish or even see it with that distance with that much line out. You're not. And
Yeah.
by the time you feel it, it's too late. If you got a strike indicator and it helps you see it and set it, no big deal. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. I was using Amy gave me one of her the Bennett Springs cracklebacks
Yep.
last year when I was down there, and I hung something off the bottom of it, and I tell you what, I was amazed because all of a sudden I was getting strikes that I didn't even know I'd been getting, and I can now see them when
Yeah.
it took the crackleback under, and I couldn't feel them, and I couldn't see the line move. That was what amazed me.
Well,
Yeah.
it's like this, John. It's no different to me when you look at one of the biggest trends, especially in Camisa's book or more these podcasts I listen to than I need to. But everybody talks about, oh, did you put some high vis on your fly?
Yeah,
But to me, it's like that's no different than using a strike indicator.
Yeah.
Especially if you're doing like a hopper dropper setup. What the heck's the top part? It's just strike indicator anyway.
It's a strike indicator.
So what's the big deal?
Yeah, I agree. The name of the game is, well, no, I take that back. The name of the game is not to catch fish. The name of the game is to go out and enjoy yourself and have a good day and enjoy nature. But
Yeah.
when you catch fish, it makes it a lot more fun.
That's just that's just the cherry on top of the day. It's all that.
Yep, it is. Yep.
If you figure something out, to me, fly fishing is trying to figure out, the less I know about an area, the more fun I have.
Yeah, me too.
I go with trying to figure it out. I don't know this place. I don't know what they're hitting on.
Yep.
I'll do some research to kind of get an idea of some stuff. But, to me, that's the art or the fun of it. It's using your brain and trying to think through what is this fish doing? How am I going to approach this? And when you figure it out, maybe you don't catch as many fish. I'm the guy that catch a lot of fish a lot of times, but I'll catch a fish, but I caught a fish because I figured it out, and
Yeah.
that to me is just like catching a 24-inch brown. I figured it out, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Or
you know, I mean,
or
fish it-
you could just ask the guy next to you, like, oh, what you got on there?
Mhm.
we got some streams here in Nebraska that we fished that are cold water streams, and they, you know, what's fun is that the stream is changing all the time. It's never the same. You go up there one day and you'll do really, really good on a Copper John. The next day you go up and they won't touch them. So yeah, it's the same thing, you know, and I don't think that's unique to Nebraska. I think all trout fishing is like that on streams.
Oh, yeah.
Every day is different, and every day you got to try and refigure out what the heck is going on. You know, and you're right, Carl. It's a challenge, and that's what the fun is. You know, we're puzzle solvers, and solving those puzzles is the fun part.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That was my big question I had with someone was, how do you know what lure to use when you're come to these different places?
You don't.
You don't.
Yeah, I'm hearing that now.
Yeah. You just, I'm gonna tell you what Kelly Gallup told me once. He said, I've got, and I'll have to look it up, and some night I'll present it. But he's got a little card where he shows colors. For example, white and black and white. He says, what I do is when I go out on a stream, I'll start with one color, and if that doesn't work after about 10 or 15 minutes, I'll switch to the opposite color. So if he starts with black, he switches to white and sees what that does. If that doesn't work, then he switches to another color group and he does the same thing, opposites, until he finally finds one of those that works. And so basically, bottom line, trial and error.
Yep.
That's what it's all about, trial and error. It helps to know what approximately what size and what colors to use. But, you know, Mick, you can tell me, you know, you've been there too. You know, you start with a size 18 and they don't work. And by the end of the day, you may be up to a size 6, for God's sakes.
Yep.
it's just-
Lee, you will see that firsthand when we go to Merrimack.
Okay.
That is a tough stream. It is, you know, kind of like Bennett, where it's a trout park. But for sure, they don't put out the numbers that they do at Bennett. So it's, you know, fewer fish. And so you can't have them. Oh, yeah, I kind of think about that. So I know usually it takes me an hour and a half to maybe 2.5 hours to finally throw the right thing out there where I start catching fish.
And how many flies do you go through, Mick, in that hour and a half?
20. And it's like, I'll be like, you know, Scott was there the one time where I had basically a Copper John that was 2 colors, green and silver. It took us forever to like use that one. And all of a sudden, you know, I caught a bunch, then I only had one, then I handed it off to Scott, he caught a bunch. And then we then put it on Rogers and he lost it. So it was but then I go home and I tie 30 of them, show up, and they don't want them anymore. And you're like, are you kidding me? And then you just start trying to figure out what they're going to hit that day, and it takes you a couple hours there.
Yeah, or you'll find the fly, and boy, they're just killing it, and then all of a sudden, nothing.
Yep.
You know, they just stop hitting that fly, and now you got to start the whole show all over again.
Hey,
And
Dave.
That's what makes it so
Dave.
exciting and so much fun.
Hey, Dave, have you heard anything from Denny Krapinski lately?
I talked to him about a week ago. Excuse me, I talked to Danny Purier, and he is trying to talk to Denny Krapinski as well. And we've both been calling, but haven't been able to talk to him.
Okay. Well, if you get a hold of him and we're going to do anything, let me know.
Okay, will
Thank
do.
you.
So who's coming up to the Bonefish tournament this year?
I know Scott is looking forward to it. So I know Scott for sure. I'll be coming up.
when is that again?
Oh God, yeah, right. I I don't know,
Where
Mick,
is
do you
it?
know?
It's in August, right?
Yeah, it's the 3rd week in August, I believe, about the 17th, 18th, or 19th. That
Well,
the
hold
3rd
on.
weekend. Let me see
Yeah.
here. Let me pull up my
Well,
calendar.
Yeah, it'd be, well,
It's going to be a travel day on, well, this year's travel day is going to be Wednesday the 16th. No, I'm sorry. Travel day is going to be Thursday, the 17th, fish the 18th and the 19th, and then travel day, the 20th of August. We're going to do 2 days of fishing this year.
So your travel day is just getting there, right?
Yeah, well, for you, that's a long haul.
It's a 10-hour or 12-hour drive for sure.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
us.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay. Well, okay.
Now,
I highly
where's that at?
recommend that you come with somebody else to share the driving.
What town's it in?
Ogallala, Nebraska.
Ogallala. Okay.
Yeah, we fish Lake McConaughey and Lake Ogallala. On Friday, it's open fishing. You can go any place you want with your guide. You can fish the tailwaters of the South Platte River coming out of, or the North Platte River coming out of Lake Ogallala for some big rainbows. Or you can fish off the dam at Lake McConaughey for smallmouth. Or you can practice fishing for the Great Plains bonefish, i.e., other name alias carp. So, and I'm here to tell you guys, everybody turns their nose up at fishing for carp until you hook into one for the first time. And it's a whole new ballgame.
You know, that topic has come up on other podcasts too. It seems to be a trend as far as sport fishing goes, is doing that.
Huge trend. There's people all over the country fishing for carp on a fly rod.
Yeah.
Our guys are coming in from Denver and Colorado and Minnesota and Wisconsin and Nebraska, from basically all over the country, because they are trying two things. Number one, they've been out at this is the 5th year we've held it, and they just really enjoy fishing with the vets. And number two, this is a heck of a sport. I mean, this carp fishing with a fly rod is not a whole lot different than bone fishing in Florida. So it's a lot of fun. Ask Amy.
Yep.
I never saw her laugh so hard in all my life as she did last year when she was here.
Last year, I caught a carp on a tenkara rod. Didn't land them, but I caught them.
Hey, I tell you what, there's a YouTube video out there someplace of a guy in Thailand landing about a 300-pound catfish on a tenkara rod. He's doing things I sure as heck wouldn't do.
All right, so it's 7:04, so I'm gonna let you guys go.
All right.
Appreciate you guys calling
Thanks,
in.
Mick.
I'm gonna let
Thanks, Nick.
some of us go back to bed because we're tired. But
Yeah, no
I'll
kidding.
come up with a pattern for next week, and we'll tie some stuff up, and we'll have another good
For
time.
those of you who want to join us, we'll be here Thursday at 6 o'clock, same time. We'll be tying gold-ribbed hares here this year as the last fly in our beginner series. So
That's a good fly. Add that to the Bennett list, and I think I did say hare's ear nymph.
yeah, I think you
Oh.
did, Mick. Yeah.
That is another good one. So if you guys want to
That 5-fly list just keeps getting longer and longer and longer, doesn't it?
yeah, and it's I can narrow it down, but if I narrow it down, somebody's gonna say, "Well, you forgot this," and that's like,
Yeah, I know. Okay, I appreciate you sending me that on.
yeah,
Hey, Mick, thanks for all the work that you did on that event this weekend, and
Yeah, you
thanks
did
to
yeoman
everybody
work.
else that wound up showing up.
yep. We'll do it again next year. Let me see, June 3rd, another vet event coming at Merrimack, so that's going to be coming up quick. Because we're getting to the tail end of April already, and May will fly by quick. And then, the first weekend of June, we'll be at Merrimack. We'll be working with Dominic. For those of you were there this weekend, you met Dominic. We will be at the shelter this time working with them. And he brings in, I think, 3 other groups, and some of the other groups bring in brats and hot dogs and food. I kind of told Scott I want to come up with some kind of prizes, because these guys actually have enough connection where they get 50 fish tagged and released into Merrimack. So if they catch a tagged fish, they get a prize. So I want to come up with something, look on Amazon, that could be fishing related, that we'll spend some money on, and That way we could kind of donate to the prizes that come out. So again, we'll be working with Dominic, and he's a very good guy, very familiar with Merrimack, which I'm still learning, but I always enjoy it. It's tough, as Carl was saying. That's, you know, at times that's the fun part, is trying to figure them out, and Merrimack will always keep you guessing. Dominic is good at Montauk, which I've fished there 2 times and have been James Bond both times. So that's 007, 0 bites, 0 fish, 7 hours. So hopefully he could train me up a little bit on how to fish Montauk. So again, we got a lot of stuff coming up this year. You know, we still have to do a lane spring. You know, that's always a lot of fun. Maybe we'll do that this May, or I don't know if we want to wait for June, let it get a little bit warmer, because we usually like to wet wade that one. There's a lot of stuff that we could do. So especially if there's somewhere that you want to try, let me know. It'd always be fun to kind of do something. Maybe bush wildlife again, like 16 is fun for some bluegill, and there's a couple big bass in there as well. So I think that's all I got. So again, take it easy, be good. We will see you next week. If there's a fly that you do want to see, reach out to me and say, I'd really like to do this, and it gives me an idea, and I don't have to think of something, so it helps me too. So all right, gentlemen, have a good evening, get some rest.
Okay.
Meet me
all
Sidelines all.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.